I've received some private messages and emails and a couple comments here and there asking what's going on with these projects. I haven't posted anything in a while. So I thought I'd just provide a quick update. Basically because I'm so thankful of all the people who have subscribed. I don't want to leave you hanging. Anyways, this is the guitar I was building. You'll remember I was also building the semi-hollow. Well, this is the one that I started after that and is now closer to being finished. Fun thing is, I thought I was done, and then a couple things popped up, and I thought it'd be interesting to some of you that are also fairly new guitar builders. This is, I think, number 6 or 7 in terms of the series of guitars I'm building. So each one's getting a little bit better, but there are some things that stand out. So I'll show them to you. The first one is once my cat just jumped on me. Once I started looking at fitting things, such as the pickups, tremolo, and so on, a couple things popped up. First of all, you'll notice that I've got the tremolo, the neck pickup sitting in there, and one of the things that quickly became apparent is that I set the neck a little too low. And what that means is once I put the strings on, the string, if I use pickup rings, the pickup will sit too high and I'll never be able to get the action low enough where it plays really well, because I'll have to lift the action up so that the strings can clear the pickup. So what I've decided to do, which is no big deal because I was actually thinking about doing this anyways, I had decided that I was going to direct mount these pickups and not use a pickup ring. I kind of like the way it looks. It's got kind of a rustic look anyways with this guitar, with these spalted maple, particularly in spots where the wood sort of like dipped a little bit because of the spalting. So it's got a little bit more rustic vibe than some of the others. But anyways, that's no big deal. I've solved that problem. What it does mean, if you see these little rings, I usually bore these out after I route out the pickup cavity, because the screws and the wings of the pickup need somewhere to go when you put the humbucker in. And so that just makes a little room for that. But of course, if I'm going to direct mount, I need that wood there. So then I had to fill those holes. I actually filled them with some oak dowels that I had that were the right size and trimmed them flush. So yay, that's all that. That problem solved. At least that's what I thought. Then when I went to go actually mount the pickups, what I remembered is that there's these screws on the bottom of the pole pieces, dip below the bottom of the pickup, and what happens is I couldn't get it in there flush. So you'll notice, like on this one, I've actually gone in and sort of gouged out some of the wood. Not ideal, not beautiful, but you'll never see it. So okay, there's that. Thought that was done, really close. In fact, I'm gonna pull this out, get it out of the way. So yay, almost done. You can see I did the same thing there. But then I went to put the tremolo in and kind of lay it out. And I don't know if the template shifted just a little bit or what happened, but it's a little narrower down at this end than it is at this end. But what that means is that I can't get the tremolo all the way this way that I want. And so I set it in there and where I thought it was in position and measured from the 12th fret to the tremolo. Well, this is a 12-inch scale neck and 12.5 inches, I couldn't get it there. So the next solution is to, actually I'm gonna build a new template. The templates that I have, I can't use on this because it already has the neck mounted. So I'm gonna make a template that's just for this cavity, put it on, route it out. We're talking maybe 1/8 of an inch, not a whole lot. I'm gonna route that out. And then once I'm done with that, then I'm actually gonna go back and spray that cavity, just because it's spalted maple, I just wanna make sure it's sealed. Fun fact, don't use masking tape on nitrocellulose lacquer. I don't know if you'll be able to see it if I zoom in really close. I don't know, yeah, you can see a little bit of it there where sort of the finish has gotten, right here, it's gotten a little wavy and not as nice. apparently the adhesive of the masking tape eats away at the lacquer. So that's another fun thing that I'm going to do is sand with some really high grit sandpaper. I may just do the whole top again, like some 800 or something to get rid of that. There's some other areas that just working on it and working on things is just not perfect. So I may just redo it. It doesn't take that long. And I bought a new buffer. So that's a lot of fun to play with anyways. The tuners, this was also interesting. The tuning pegs, here's my cat, in case anybody's wondering. This is my other cat. I don't think he's been on video yet. Don't eat the pickup. Don't do that. I know, you're very disappointed. The other fun, interesting thing is that I've got 2 or 3 sets of Shaler pickups that I've just purchased over time and thought I was going to use them and then just haven't gotten around to it. So the locking tuners that I had planned to use on this guitar, the kind that had like the PRS, the new PRS tuners where they have the little lock at the top, well, those don't work on this headstock. The headstock's too thick, so the holes to actually put the strings through are too low, and there's not enough clearance, and so they don't work. So that's fine. This other set of tuning pegs. They're also Shaler. Everything they're fine. I like these also. So I switched the knobs out because I didn't want these are actually ebony. I wanted ebony knobs on this guitar. I just think it looks nice, particularly with the the spalting, the black parts of the spalting. But fun. In the process of installing these, I screwed up some of the lacquer here too. So once I figure out all the other issues, then I'll go back and go ahead and resand the back of the headstock as well, and then rebuff that, and then hopefully I'll be done. I've also made these cover plates, one for the control cavity, and then also one for the tremolo cavity. So yay, that's done. So we're almost there. It's almost finished, and I like the way it's turning out. It'd just be nice to finish it at this point. I will say this: if anybody's ever thought about getting a buffer, like a nice buffer, it's well worth it. On previous guitars, I spent hours and hours sanding, and then using the StewMac buffing pads that you can put into a drill, and those work. They're a pain in the butt to use, particularly if you're by yourself and you're holding the guitar and trying to keep it from flying off the table when you're using them. And they're also messy because you're using that liquid compound to get the nice finish. They will work, but they just don't work great, at least in my opinion, and they're a lot of trouble. I went ahead and splurged and bought the StewMac buffer, and I can tell you, whereas with the other process, I spent hours and hours sanding, and then hours and hours buffing and annoyed and irritable trying to get everything to work without losing the guitar on the floor because it's kicked it off somehow. The buffer, in terms of the whole process, after sanding, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of relaxation, standing at the buffer, holding the guitar, and not having to fight it and make sure everything fit. I mean, not fit, but make sure everything was safe and kept from flying away. I mean, buffers are dangerous in the sense that if you use it incorrectly, it will grab the piece of wood that you're holding and sling it across the room. But if you use it correctly, it's pretty straightforward, and it's a hell of a lot easier than using the handheld drill sort of buffer things. Actually, even went and bought a Harbor Freight buffer, thinking maybe that would be easier to handle, and it didn't. It didn't work. It was a pain in the butt. So definitely the some sort of pedestal buffer. I got, like I said, I got the StewMac. I know that there's There's the Shop Fox buffer. Of course, you have to kind of assemble it. And there's other versions that are higher RPM. The difficult part is I shopped a lot, and it's really challenging finding a lower RPM buffer that's appropriate for these delicate nitrocellulose finishes or delicate finishes in general. So anyways, that's about it. And in other news, I hated the finish on the semi-hollow guitar, if you followed those videos. So I totally sanded it down and refinished it in a blue color. And it's just been curing for the last month, I don't know, month and a half maybe. And so probably it's ready to go, but I really want to finish this, wrap this up. And once I wrap this up, then I'll break that out, start wet sanding it, and buffing it and getting it ready. And hopefully soon, I know I keep saying that in these videos, but hopefully I'll be able to soon provide some sort of demo of what these guitars sound like.